This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Friday, September 15th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. Officials in Michigan City will break ground Friday on a $280 million mixed-use development that includes 2 new Wyndham-branded hotels, as well as residential and retail space with views of Lake Michigan. SoLa, named its location south of the lake, will cover a total of 628,000 square feet of space and is billed as the largest development in the newly created Michigan City Transit-Oriented Development District. Indianapolis-based developer Tom Dakich.
Michigan City has the bones to be a true beach facility that has industry and has culture to it.
The project is being developed by Yab Development Partners, which says the development would have a major economic impact on the region to the tune of $680 million over 15 years. SoLa is meant to take advantage of the $649 million South Shore Double Track project, which will add a second rail line between Gary and Michigan City, reducing commute times to Chicago by about 20 minutes. A new study shows that Indiana is an emerging ag tech innovation hub after ag bioscience job postings multiplied by nearly 7-fold since 2017. The Techonomy Partners study found the industry is growing within the broader Indiana economy. Economic Development Initiative Agrinovus Indiana sees the development as a step in the right direction for the not-for-profit's mission. The report says there is a solid base for future growth, citing the pipeline of tech startups, university development and research, and the companies and industries already established and growing in the state. The Terre Haute Regional Airport on Thursday announced Craig Machino as its next executive director. Machino will succeed Jeff Hauser, who is retiring at the end of the year. Machino is a lieutenant colonel in the Indiana Air National Guard and will be retiring in October after 35 years of service. He currently serves as Chief of Wing Plans, Execution, and Integration. The airport said Machino has had leading roles in many initiatives to, quote, advance the airport and economic opportunities in the Wabash Valley. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Get ready, Northeast Indiana. We're headed your way. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the 2nd annual Engage Northeast Indiana event, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Tuesday, October 10th at the Grand Wayne Center. We'll be diving into talent, education, and other issues shaping the regional economy. You can find more at ibj.com/engage.
More than a dozen U.S. states have passed laws recognizing occupational licenses issued by other states, but Indiana won't be joining them anytime soon. IIB's Alex Brown has the story.
In its first meeting Wednesday, a committee charged with considering the idea heard calls for an exhaustive analysis of the impacts on the dozens of industries whose licensing the state regulates, and members of several industries asked to be left out of any universal licensure recognition efforts. Republican Committee Chair Senator Linda Rogers of Granger said she would probably not pursue such a proposal in the near future, though she didn't rule it out in the long term. Indiana uses interstate compacts to allow licensed professionals more mobility, each customized to a specific profession and applicable to particular states. Universal licensing proponents say it makes it easier for licensed professionals to work elsewhere, without having to redo strict requirements for a different state's license and without having to navigate a web of reciprocity options. The concept has generated industry pushback, but for states facing worker shortages like Indiana, it holds tantalizing potential. 20 states have adopted some form of universal licensing recognition, largely in the last 5 years, but in different forms. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Purdue University officials say the university's incoming students are breaking multiple records for enrollment. At a 50% admission rate, 3 percentage points lower than last year, officials say the class is the university's most selective ever. More than 72,000 prospective students, a record high, applied for admittance to the university this fall. The university's West Lafayette campus reports a total of 52,211 students this semester, which is another all-time high. Almost 48,000 of those students live on campus. A record 39,170 undergraduates are enrolled this fall from all 50 states and 120 countries. An Indianapolis commercial fire protection and life safety company has added another company to its portfolio, which has grown much larger after a slate of recent acquisitions. CertaSite announced Wednesday it had bought Michigan-based Eastman Fire Protection, a company that focuses on fire extinguisher, emergency and exit lights, and suppression systems. Indy Star columnist Greg Doyle is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.